All right. So this is video number 1. Technically, this is an old channel, but it's a lot of old videos, but this is really the rebirth of this channel. I renamed it The Cycling Pastor. Boy, that's quick to say, but it's a really loaded title, man, because there's a lot that comes with it. I guess I should start by introducing myself, because this is not for my social media now. This is for this video channel that you probably don't know who I am. So my name is David Rocha, 54 years old in Northern California. And as you can guess, I'm a pastor and I cycle. Morning. So, yeah, pastor and cycling. Let's get going and then I'll talk to you on the ride. Have a good day. Oh yeah.
Got a little safety thing, you know?
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So, like I said, the cycling pastor. I think I had to split it into two because there's two completely different stories, because it doesn't even make sense. And let's I share first the pastor part, and let's do the pastor part first, and then I'll talk about the cycling part. I think that'd be the best way to do this. I think I didn't finish introducing myself when those gentlemen drove up. Name is David Rocha, 54 years old, Northern California. My beautiful wife is named Sharon, and we're a mixed family. We our children are adults now, and we pastor the church together. You'll get to know her. She does these rides with me, not as much as I do, but she does, and you'll get to meet her. Anyways, the pastoring part. So I grew up, my dad was an alcoholic. My mom got saved when I was 5. 3 years later, my dad got saved, completely delivered from alcohol, and changed the trajectory of my family completely. Raised in a Christian home, and raised out in the country. My dad was a farmer. Well, he's still alive, but he's not a farmer anymore. He's retired. Worked tomato fields, asparagus, and that was my childhood growing up. So, because as most teenagers want to do what they want to do, I got in my teenage years, believe it or not, got in the music industry, became a gangster rapper, sold a lot of music nationwide, maybe even internationally in some countries, and completely lost my way, lost my childhood identity, lost a lot, lost myself, and became completely swallowed up by the music industry and the street life that comes with it. Fast forward to a complete rap career, flying places, concerts, car shows, autograph signings, And it all came crashing down. On February 25th, 2004, I was arrested by the local gang task force, FBI, and DEA. I was already fighting RICO charges, and I was told that I was served 23 to life minimum mandatory. See, in the feds, they have this thing called the federal guidelines. And basically, it was from the moment President Ronald Reagan put it in place because people were doing crimes across all 50 states, and federal judges were giving people time that didn't match other people in other states that were doing the same exact crime. So they kind of wanted to streamline and make it even. So they created, it would look like a multiplication chart, I guess. Numbers down the side, numbers across. And according to your crime and your criminal history, that's the time you were gonna do. And it made it more uniform across the 50 states, and they were called the federal guidelines, the sentencing guidelines. And on those guidelines, I fit in the category of 23 to life minimum mandatory. This is my third felony. And as I sat there in my cell, I finally surrendered my life to the Lord. I said, I'm done. I keep getting in trouble. I keep catching felonies in this one. I am done. I don't know what to do. And the craziest thing happened, guys. The federal court goes very slowly. It takes a long time. You'll go to court, and then you won't go to court till 4 months later. And then you go to court 3 months later. I mean, it's tedious. By the time I got to sentencing, something crazy happened. Something I never imagined. I remember getting up that morning, feeling very defeated, knowing I was gonna get this time, nothing I could do about it. The federal guidelines were the federal guidelines. And I remember getting the paper that morning as I was getting ready to go to court. And on the front page, it said, federal guidelines found unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. What? They've been in place since the 80s? And on the day that I was gonna get sentenced according to the federal guidelines, it got found unconstitutional. You can look it up yourself, Google it. It's Booker versus United States. My lawyer immediately canceled my court date. It was a frenzy in the courtrooms. And long story short, instead of 23 to life, I spoke, shared my heart with the judge, and he knocked my time down to 8 years. And out of those 8 years, I did 6. You do 85% of your time in federal prison, and then there's a program, a 9-month program that I graduated from in there, and that knocked 12 months off. So I did a total of 6 years. One of those in solitary confinement. By the time I released in 2010, I was already discipling men, giving Bible studies, preaching in the yard, preaching in the chapel. Came out with a associates in biblical studies, and halfway through my bachelor's in ministry. A year after my release, I rented a house with a basement that was fully furnished, wooden walls, its own bathroom, and started House of Rest Church. became part of Grace International, which is a huge pastoral covering with over 6,000 churches around the world. And been at it ever since. House of Rest Now church is no longer in my basement. Now it's a 14,300 square foot building with 2 sanctuaries, one for English, one for Spanish. The English seats, I think, 250 people. The Spanish seats 100, classroom for kids, food pantry, podcast room. We have a prison ministry that almost every inmate in prison and county jail across America has tablets. We found a way to get on there. So we get tons of letters. We read every single one, my wife and I, and we answer them through our podcast that they watch. They ask biblical questions and whatnot. 2 different platforms in prison. One of them has over 9,000 salvations. Incredible. So that's the pastor part. The cycling part. When I was in prison, I got down to my lowest adult weight, which is 266 pounds, which is still heavy, but in there I was able to try to exercise and lift weights. But when you're in prison, you can't wait to eat Mexican food, Chinese food, and pizza. And as soon as I got out, I indulged in all of it. I was already maybe 3 years out. And that's when I met Sharon. I want to say 3 years. I don't know. She'll correct me. She knows dates better than I do. But we met on Facebook through mutual friends. Started talking. She was in Southern California. I'm in Northern California. After some months, at that time I was tired. I was gaining weight, and when I met her, I started cycling. I got a $99 bike from Walmart. I didn't know nothing about cycling, so I got this bike thinking it was the best thing for comfort. It had shocks on the forks, had a giant shock in the middle of the frame. I had no idea that all those shocks, they might add comfort, but it absorbs your whole power from pedaling. It absorbs it into the shock, and you're not really going anywhere. I mean, it's just... Anyways, it's a story for another day. But I started cycling 1 mile at a time. I remember the first mile, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I was so heavy, so unhealthy. Didn't understand how I allowed myself to get to that weight. I got up to 379 pounds, 21 pounds short of 400 pounds, guys. But as I started cycling and going to the gym, I met Sharon. We started talking on the phone. She said she had a bike. And eventually she moved up here with her son Abraham. She rented a room somewhere. I was living at my parents', and our dates were bike rides every day. We would go on bike rides. But then I got sick. They thought it was something horrible. They saw a giant mass in my stomach. Come to find out, it was diverticulitis, and my large intestine had collapsed. They had to send me by emergency ambulance to San Francisco. and I had to have a foot of my large intestine removed. They did a resection, and that took me like a year to recover. And Sharon was with me by my side the whole time. I'm still at my parents'. She had her own place with Abraham, our son. And other health issues that she had got us to a place where I remember going to the seminar and they were talking about gastric surgery. And I remember she asked me if I would ever do that. And I said, no way. But there was something that stuck in my head, and I don't know why it stuck in my head, but it just did. I remember the surgeon saying that people with diabetes, which I was not diabetic, that get gastric surgery, after weight loss, they no longer have the symptoms of diabetes, no longer have to take the medication of diabetes. Didn't think nothing of it. For some reason, that stuck in my head. Fast forward. A few months later, I was driving Uber and Lyft in San Francisco. That's what I did for work. One day, everything was blurry. I was thirsty. I couldn't drink enough water. Come to find out, I went to the ER, my blood sugar was in the high 500s. They said, you could have went into a coma. So I said, they put me on medication. It wasn't enough, so they put me on a second medication. And because of the second medication, it made my blood pressure go up, which I didn't have high blood pressure. They gave me a blood pressure medicine. Now I was taking 3 pills every single day. And I told the doctor, how long do I have to take this for? And he said, what do you mean? You're gonna have to take this medicine for the rest of your life. What? He goes, yeah, you're diabetic. I went on YouTube, started watching videos, started seeing testimonials of people that got gastric, remembered what was said at the seminar. I told my wife, I don't want to take medicine for the rest of my life. And I don't have the will to lose weight. He said something else. The doctor said something else, that I had to be realistic with myself. He said, if you're overweight, he said, you do not have the will to get that weight off. He goes, I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm being realistic. That only 2% of people that actually have the will to lose weight can actually do it and keep it off. He goes, I'm not talking about yo-yo dieting. I'm not talking about losing 50 and then regaining it. 2%. There was about 200 people in that room. He says, there's only 2% of you in this room that actually have the will to lose the weight naturally and keep it off. He goes, so my question to you is, be honest with yourself. Do you really believe you're of that 2%? If so, then go do it. But the rest of the 98%, I want you to be completely honest with yourself. Because if you're not, you're gonna keep getting heavier and you're gonna die young. And I had to be honest with myself. I tried Weight Watchers, I tried taking carbs out, I tried exercising, gym, cycling. So I decided to go and get the surgery. I went to get the sleeve and the DS loop. So when I finally did get the surgery, I woke up to the surgeon standing over me, says, I got some good news and bad news, Mr. Rocha. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he says, well, you got the sleeves. He goes, but I couldn't do the DS loop because of your previous surgery. with the diverticulitis, too much scar tissue. I couldn't get to do the DS loop. You're too heavy. Lose 100 pounds, come back, and let's finish it up. That was in 2017. Well, I said, okay, thank you. Started healing up, started cycling. Life was good. Went from 379 all the way down to 272. A little over 100 pounds. We were cycling. We were going everywhere. Sharon doesn't like to ride on the streets, so I went searching for paved bike trails, and we started riding trails in Stockton, Modesto, Merced, Dublin. That's a 50-mile bike ride we did. Oakland, San Francisco, Monterey, Sacramento, San Diego, the Silver Strand. And it was good, man. We were riding. We were married by this time. And then COVID hit. Well, at that time, you already know, I don't got to tell you guys lived through it too, but gyms closed. Quit going to the gym, and for whatever reason, I quit cycling. Even though I could have still cycled through COVID, it's out in the open. Became inactive, got lazy, and started gaining weight again. Slowly. I didn't think I could lose weight again. I was like, well, I have a gastric sleeve. Started to gain weight again. Fast forward, 11 months ago, I was back up to 324 pounds. That's a little over 50-pound weight gain. And my wife had a serious talk with me. She was concerned for me, concerned about my health, saw me gaining weight again. I wasn't up to where I was, but I was not doing good. And she basically said, David, your kids need you, your grandchildren need you, I need you. Would you please consider going back and finishing the surgery so my husband can have a longer life? So I went back. In July of 2025, I finished off and did the complete DS loop, which I already had the sleeve. Started losing weight, was no longer lethargic. Got back on my bike, winter's over. And right now I'm at 237. The lowest I have ever been since my 20s, and I'm 54 now. Morning. So, the cycling pastor. Now, why am I doing this? Well, I go on rides 3 to 5 times a week. And this is why I want to do this. It's on my bike rides. I get to decompress. I get to think. And sometimes words of wisdom, counsel, just come to me. I'm out here riding, I don't have a pen, I don't have a paper, I don't have anything. And these little moments of clarity that I could just share to help somebody, because that's the pastor in me. the time my ride is done, it's gone, the thought's gone. And I thought, I was watching a video of these 360 cameras and the little mic setup. And I said, I think that's what I need. And this is what I want to do. I want to dedicate the warm-up part of my ride to God and to you guys. And because I'm a cycling pastor, we could talk about all kinds of stuff. Morning. We could talk about health, cycling, marriage, life, God, Bible, devotionals, scripture, leadership, pastoring, whatever. And do my video with you guys in the beginning of my ride. And then I can turn the camera off and finish my ride for me. But give the first portion of my ride to you. I mean, technically, isn't that what a tithe is, the first fruits? To give to the Lord what belongs to Him. I have no idea if this is gonna get any views, if anybody's gonna be interested in a cycling pastor. But I'm gonna give it a shot. Because in one end, nobody could watch it. Nobody would be interested. And it's just a bunch of footage that I can maybe just see myself years later. On the flip side, what if it could change a life? What if it can help you? What if I say something that you needed to hear? What if I say something that'll help your marriage, help your life? Good morning. Help your walk with the Lord. Help you to decide to follow Jesus. Restore your family. Restore your faith. Help your health. Encourage your health. I mean, there's so many things to me that outweigh the cons. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put these videos up and maybe somebody will watch it. I don't know. I was gonna go on that bike lane, but that guy's cutting down the branches. Well, guys, that's my introduction to who I am, the introduction of what this channel's about. And we'll go from here and see what happens. I don't know. Maybe something will happen. Maybe nothing will happen. But subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and we'll just grow this thing together. There is no limits in the Lord. I'll end it with one of my favorite Bible verses is Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3, where the Lord says, "Cry out to me, and I will show you great and mighty things that you could have never imagined." All right, guys. God bless.